The way I come at this is not that this has always been the arc of computation, right? You can sort of take it in the last 30 years or the last 70 years. It's always been about, can you digitize artifacts about people, places, and things, and then build analytical and predictive power, right? That's what the mainframes did. That's what the mini computer did. That's what the client server era did. That's what the web era did, the mobile cloud era did. So it depends, irrespective of which paradigm or platform, it has been one continuous arc of saying, let's make better sense of this world by reasoning about it in digital form, because in some sense, once you have these artifacts in digital form, you can use a more malleable resource like software,
right?
Which doesn't have the same type of, I'll call it marginal cost economics associated with it, that allows us to then build more insight and more capability. And in that context, AI, I would say, is of the same class, at least, like the web or the internet, or mobile or PC or the cloud, and maybe even greater. And so, to me, right now, where we are is, let's take just what's happened with software engineering, right? Which is one, is knowledge work. You could say it's elite knowledge work. Mm-hmm. It started off, in fact, my own belief in this generation of AI and its capability really got built up when I first saw GitHub Copilot do code completions, right? So for the longest time, we had the dream that if you're a software developer, can you predict the next sort of word or the next line of code? And suddenly it started working with these models. Then you said, okay, if I can do that, then can I actually go and bring back, the flow for a software developer by going to a chat session and asking any question, and it comes back with answers that then you can use in your coding flow, right? So that was the next thing. Then you said, well, if that's working, can I assign it small tasks? That was the agent mode. Now you have complete autonomous agents where you can give it your entire project, right? It can work,
24/7.
It can work for 24/7. I mean, it's still, we've got some ways to go for these things to remain coherent long time, but nevertheless, it's getting better and better. And interestingly enough, you look at it, the software developer still is got a lot of agency in it, right? So that's why I kind of still think that, going and thinking of these as somehow living outside of the realm of human agency is probably not the right way to think about it. In fact, the way to perhaps conceive it, like if, let's say in early 80s, if somebody had come to us and said, well, 4 billion people are going to wake up every morning and start typing, you would have said, why? Right? We have a typist pool that's good enough. We don't need 4 billion people. But that's what happened. Like, we invented this entire class of thing called knowledge work, where people started really using computers to go amplify what we were trying to achieve using software. I think in the context of AI, that same thing is going to happen. Mm-hmm. It's not like, what is hardcore coding is going to remain hardcore coding forever. It's just that the levels of abstraction are going to change. But we also are going to have code as output, just like documents. In fact, one of Bill's things at Microsoft from the day I joined in '92 always was, what's the real difference between a document, a website, and an application, right? It's the lack of sort of software that can transform itself. Interestingly enough, AI finally gives us that, right? Which is, I can write a document. I can just say, no, I don't want it as a document. I want it as a website. It'll just transform that document using code into a website. I say, oh, I don't like the website. I want an app. It'll write more code to transform it. So that reasoning and reasoning capabilities, that prediction capabilities, that ability to take action, remain long-term coherent, is all improving. And our job, though, is to parlay this. Like, take even what you at BlackRock are doing, right? When you're taking something like, say, Copilot plus Aladdin and bringing those things together,
right,
to improve the productivity in the firm for the decisions you want to make, right, with your data.
I could just tell you at our firm, things that would take 12 hours to compute now takes minutes. For us, processing $14 trillion of other people's money with hundreds of thousands of different mandates, we could do that instantaneous. And we, that to me, if it wasn't for the technology and AI today, we would not be able to function to the scale that we're operating.
That's right. And so, to me, that one firm at a time, one country at a time, if we can really take these tokens and bend the curve of productivity, then there is surplus everywhere, and that's really the goal.
Well, surplus could be scary, too. Does surplus mean fewer workers? What do we mean by surplus? And so, I'm going to tie that into my second question about AI diffusion.
Yeah.
To me, the whole realization of AI for any society and also for a more balanced world is making sure that it's